Hey guys, welcome to my review for Soul Eater. I'm so excited to finally be doing a review for this series. I've wanted to do it for such a long time. Now I have finally finished rereading the series almost a year after I finished it. And man, I just cannot wait to talk about it. I got my friggin' Holy Sword shirt on the go. Let's do this. So Soul Eater is a shonen manga series created by Atsushi Okubo, and it was serialized in Monthly Shonen Gangan from 2004 to 2013. Now the story follows many students of the Death Weapon Meister Academy. Now some people in this world are born as weapons. That is right, they are humans that have the ability to transform into weapons, and the people who wield these weapons are called Meisters. Now the goal of every Meister is to create a death weapon, a weapon worthy to be used by Shinigami, Lord Death, who is the most powerful being in the world as well as the headmaster of the DWMA. In order to create a death weapon, the Meister with their weapon must defeat 99 Kishins. Now a Kishin is basically a human who has gone crazy. They have fallen into the madness, they have become evil, and it is up to the DWMA to defeat them. Now if a weapon consumes 99 souls as well as the soul of one witch, the witches being the mortal enemies of the DWMA, they will become a death weapon. Now the central characters of the story are Scythe Master Maka Albarn and her weapon Soul Eater. The series also follows the Meister Blackstar and his chain scythe Tsubaki, as well as Death the Kid, the son of Shinigami, and his twin pistols Liz and Patty. Now we don't really get much plot progression in the first few chapters of this story, as it mostly just sets up these characters, because there are a lot of characters in Soul Eater, so they really need a lot of time to themselves so we get to know them. Now the real story begins with Maka and Soul on a mission to defeat a Kishin, as Maka is attempting to make Soul a death weapon. However, some crap goes down. They run into the Meister Krona, who is actually fused with his weapon, the demon weapon Ragnarok. Ragnarok lives inside Krona because of the black blood that is flowing through his veins. The black blood acts as a shield protecting Krona's body, but it is also a source of madness, which, makes people pretty crazy. Really, really crazy. The series is insane. But more on that in a second. Maka and Soul know that it is their duty to take this guy down, so they have a fight. However, they kind of get the crap beaten out of them, and after being wounded by Ragnarok, Soul becomes infected with the black blood. We then learn that Krona is being controlled by his mother, the witch Medusa. And Medusa has some pretty messed up intentions. She is bad. She wants to do some bad things. So now it is up to the students and teachers of the DWMA to find out what she's doing and put a stop to the madness. That's all I'm going to say about the story, because a lot of things happen and I really don't want to spoil anything else. So I friggin' love Soul Eater. I love it to pieces. This story is so incredibly out there. I mean, just the concept of people turning into weapons is crazy, and I love how this series embraces how weird it is. I mean, from the character designs to their personalities to the events that happen in the story, it's just a really crazy series, and it knows it's crazy, and I just love that about it. Now, the series is 25 volumes long, so a lot of things do happen in it. There are a lot of mini story arcs, a lot of new characters get introduced, a lot of new antagonists get introduced, and most of which are just completely awesome, and I love the series so much. So obviously this is an action series, and the action scenes are absolutely incredible. I'll talk a bit more about it when I get into the art section, but my god, every fight scene is so enjoyable. All these characters are so amazing. I love their interactions together. There are some very, very funny chapters in this story that just rely on the characters' reactions. There are also some really serious, really sad, and really screwed up parts. And the whole thing builds to a crazy 5-volume climax that is unlike anything I have read. One of the best climaxes in a manga series I have read so far. It is just spectacular. But leading up to that point, there are a lot of twists and turns and crazy revelations, and it's just so exciting. When I first read this series, there were so many times when I turned a page and my jaw just dropped. I'm like, what is happening right now? The mangaka really knows how to grip you and keep your interest, get you engrossed in this world, and it is great. Although one thing about the world, I really didn't feel like there was enough world building, because there were a lot of things that I felt should have been established about this world early on. Things that we didn't really find out until later on, or things that didn't really get found out about at all. I mean, they barely explain a lot of the things about this school, you know, when these kids started going to school, how long they're supposed to be there, you know, when they found out they had these powers, how they found out they can use these powers. I mean, why can these kids go on missions around the world? Like, do they fly there? Do they walk there? Well, what's going on? Some of these things do get explained later on, but I do wish we got a bit more insight into the world. Another minor annoyance in this story is that, as I mentioned, there are a lot of characters, a lot of which are awesome, but a lot of them really feel like they just get introduced for convenience. Like, a new enemy could show up just to be defeated in the next chapter, just for, you know, convenience to have a fight scene. Or a new hero character could show up out of nowhere without any build-up or development at all, and suddenly they are one of the most important characters in the series. But overall, this story is just wonderful, and I could read it 1,000 more times and still enjoy it. Next up is characters, and oh my god, there are so many characters and there's so many things to say. First off, the protagonists, Manga and Soul, are great together. I love them so much. They're probably the least crazy out of the entire cast, so that's always good. Then we have Blackstar, who is so confident in himself it is crazy. See, he wants to transcend the gods and be the best he can possibly be. He doesn't put up with anyone's crap. And then we have his weapon, Tsubaki, who's like the complete opposite. She's always apologizing for whatever he's doing, and she seems to be the most reasoning and caring one of the group. And then we have Death the Kid, who is Shinigami's son, and he is completely obsessed with perfection. He basically lives off of the idea of symmetry to the point where he has abandoned his friends and missions before just to go back to his home to check to see that he folded the toilet paper into a perfect triangle. Then we have his two weapons, Liz and Patty, who I feel like they don't get as much development as all of the others that I just mentioned, but yeah, they're kind of idiots. But I mean, they're still great additions to the cast. We also have Krona. Don't want to talk much about Krona because major spoilers with this guy. If he is a guy, they don't really make that very clear. But yeah, he is a very important character and he definitely adds a lot to the story. And I really don't want to talk about all that many more characters. There are a lot of things that I really just don't want to spoil, and I really want you guys to check out for yourself, but there are so many characters that get introduced, so many of them I love so much. We get some really, really awesome antagonists. Medusa is one of my favorite antagonists in manga just because of how evil and manipulative she is. I also loved a lot of the teachers at the DWMA. They really add a lot to the series, one of which is actually Maka's father, Death Scythe, who is a friggin' hilarious character and I love him to death. But of course, we cannot forget the most important character who adds so much to this series, makes it one of the best cast of characters ever in manga, and that of course is the legendary Holy Sword Excalibur. I mean, he's so amazing. I got him on a shirt. Like, Excalibur, oh my Jesus. I don't even know. This guy, his legend dates all the way back to the 12th century, right? It's a crazy friggin' legend. You really need to go to one of his 5-hour recitations because, oh my god, what a crazy guy. Next up is the art, and it's actually a little weird with Soul Eater because in the first several chapters, Atsushi Okubo actually experimented a little bit with the art, and it's actually kind of inconsistent early on. However, once the series gets going, he finds an art style that he likes and he sticks with it, and oh my god, I love it. Like, the art style in Soul Eater is absolutely fantastic. I love it so much. The character designs are wonderful, and I mean, sometimes I'm just staring at the pages, admiring the art and the backgrounds and the details. This series really benefits from being a monthly manga. And once the series goes on and the mangaka becomes more experienced, the art gets even better. And those last 5 volumes I talked about, the giant climax, looks absolutely amazing. He draws fight scenes incredibly well. The way the characters move and how all the shots look, it's just wonderful. I'm seriously considering buying the Soul Eater art book. I usually don't buy them because of how much money they are just for a bunch of pictures, but my god, it is just incredible. And like I said before, the series just embraces its weirdness, and the art just definitely shows that. It is crazy, it's insane, and it has to be one of my favorite art styles in manga. Although, I should address the elephant in the room.
Ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties.
Yeah, one of those series. Although, to be honest, the fan service in this series does not bother me at all. There is a lot A lot of boobs, a lot of butts, but it never really feels distracting, and a lot of the times it is played for comedy and ends up being really funny. Although if you are not a fan of massive amounts of fan service, then you might not dig Soul Eater, but if you can put up with it, say you read other stuff like Fairy Tail, then yeah, you're not going to mind at all. So those were my thoughts on Soul Eater. Fantastic series. I really can't say all that much more about it to stay spoiler free, but all I can say is if anything I said in this video intrigues you at all, then definitely check out Soul Eater. And with that, I give Soul Eater my score of 4.5 8s out of 5. Because of course 8 is the most perfect a number can get. So if you are interested in reading Soul Eater, all 25 volumes are in print and available from Yen Press. Unfortunately, there are no box sets or omnibuy or anything, so there's no real cheaper way to buy this series other than get all the volumes individually, which kinda sucks, but I definitely think it is worth it. There's also a 51 episode anime series produced by Studio Bones, which has been licensed by Funimation. Now I highly recommend this anime. Unfortunately though, it only follows the manga up to 10 volumes, then it splits off and does its own thing for the ending, which I really wish they would have just put it on hiatus or something and wait for the manga to complete so they can adapt it, because there was a lot of great stuff, like that climax I talked about, a lot of great stuff that the anime just missed out on, and I really hope it comes back or gets remade someday. There's also a spin-off series called Soul Eater Not. It is not Soul Eater. It is definitely not Soul Eater. I'm not a fan of it, but if you did like Soul Eater, then you might want to check it out, because it could be for you. So that was my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can comment your thoughts below. And with that, I will see you guys in my next full series review for Scott Pilgrim.
Back in